Today I'm focusing on giving my dressing room an even more boutique-like feel. And that is by bringing in this mirror right here that was my Grammy's at one point in time. And then I have since inherited it, but I really love this mirror. It's so beautiful. And I was really inspired when I was reading Jennifer L. Scott's new book, The Daily Connoisseur's Guide to Living Well at Home, Making Everyday Life Extraordinary. So within part 2, which covers beauty, she talks about dressing well at home and the importance of this, as well as curating your closet, your wardrobe, your dressing room like a boutique, like a chic boutique. And she also encourages you throughout her book to journal different things, your thoughts about different things, and she has a space for you to do just that. So that is something that I wanted to share with you as far as my whole feeling behind the importance of having a space such as this. This is something that Jennifer and I really do agree on, and I would have to say that we have very similar styles in the way that we store our clothing, in keeping those things that are off season stored away. And that's one of the things that she suggests within her book, just making it to where when you go into your dressing room, you go into your closet, it basically gets rid of any decision fatigue that you may have. And that's a really big reason why I do this as well. However, I go a step further. I really love to really make it feel like a boutique in that I focus on color stories. This is something that you will definitely notice whenever you walk into a beautiful boutique. The color story that they have going on. Now, sometimes they have different sections for different colors, but other times there is basically a main color palette that they are going with for that season or for that month or the 2 months that it's really relevant. And that's something that I love to do, especially having worked retail when I was much younger. But that was something I absolutely loved about curating the spaces, were the color stories. And so I really love showing that and reflecting that within my own closet, within my own dressing room. And here's the reason why I like to do that, because it feels exciting to go shopping within my own wardrobe. It really takes away that feeling of, oh, I have nothing to wear. And so that's one of the things that I am going to share with you, just something that I have written about that and, you know, my feelings behind that. So I have some cleanup to do because from time to time, maybe once a month or every month and a half, I really do like going through my wardrobe and picking out different color stories, putting different options out. Now, sometimes this has lasted maybe a week to 2 weeks, and I've done that because I've just been tired of the colors that I have, and then I will like to refresh everything by changing the color story. So I had just gone with beige, cream, and blues, and so I have since taken all of those out today. It took me a little bit of time. I was thinking of filming all of this for you, my whole process, but it's really a process, so it's not something that I want to have a lot of footage of that I go through. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put all of these extra clothes away, because another color that I was thinking of going with today would have been green, but I think that I'm going to save that for at least the very end of this month going into December. That will probably be next month's color story. But I just went back with some of the very light blush tones as well as the creams. I've just really been enjoying wearing cream so much. Now, what I like to do within my own wardrobe is just basically have those pieces that I wear all the time, and I do have those, and it's good to identify those pieces that you do have. They're tried and true. They're the colors that you just love wearing no matter what. And so for me, those neutrals would be cream and then the beigey brownish colors. That's what I've been going with. And the champagne color, that's another tone that I've been going with. And I just feel that they pair so well with all of the other items that I have, and it really does make creating these color stories, you know, make sense, because I'm not constantly having to switch out all of the pieces. It's just a few pieces here and there. The colors mainly. Those are the things that I'm switching out. So some might think, oh my gosh, that's so much work. But you know what? One of the things that really helps me is when I'm feeling maybe at a loss of what to do, I'm not feeling very creative, maybe I'm irritable at different times, I really find that after I do my wash, it's so nice to come back in here and just kind of reorganize things a bit. It's nice to refresh this space. And again, it really does make me feel as if I have a whole new wardrobe each and every time, even though I'm just, you know, cycling through my pieces. And it also gives me an opportunity to see which items I've worn and which ones I really didn't care for. I basically know already which pieces I will likely part with, or at least put away for a time. That way when I revisit it, I can, you know, make the decision then. Because sometimes it's not always wise to make the decision right away, just because sometimes you're just tired of the piece. You're tired of seeing it all the time. But that doesn't mean that at some point in time you won't likely want to wear it again. So anyway, I am going to put all of these pieces away. But what I ended up doing over here is I created this space with a mirror to have an area that I can put my jewelry on at. And I did have that in the center island before, because I had a tray there with my flowers, and I just thought that that would be a great place to put that. But I've since changed my mind. I really wanted a little space that I could put a mirror and have my jewelry at, and then a little candle like so. And then I've started adding different things to these shelves that have been empty. And that's the other thing, is just because you may have a lot of extra space, and I know that that is not everyone, but say you do have a wardrobe or a dressing room that has so much space in it that, you know, you really don't even have enough to fill it up. That doesn't mean that you have to fill that space up. Now, I, for instance, like to make a space look intentional, look beautiful, and that does mean that for myself that, you know, the empty shelves, you know, they just kind of look like an eyesore to me. So maybe it will mean that I will readjust those shelves, take out ones that aren't being used, and so on. But that's just a little side note there, that just because you have the extra space, it doesn't mean that you have to fill it up. Like I, for instance, really like to have the breathing room between all of my beautiful pieces of clothing, because it makes it so much easier to see. I like to be able to just come in here and, you know, just get what I need. I don't need to have everything filled up and crammed in here to where I can't see what I have. And again, that goes into all of the color stories that I like to curate from time to time, because it also gives my clothing that breathing room that I so love. And just coming in here, it makes it that much easier to decide what I'm going to be wearing for the day and what I'm going to be pairing with what. There's a journal prompt in Jennifer L. Scott's Living Well at Home that asks, what would happen if you wore your favorite sleepwear on a nightly basis? When I first read that question, I smiled, because that's exactly where my own journey of dressing well at home began. When I was preparing to step into my 30s, I remember thinking about how I wanted my wardrobe to reflect the woman I was becoming. And instead of starting with what I wore out of the house, I began with what no one else would see, my sleepwear. I realized that if I could change what was most unseen, how I presented myself in the quiet privacy of my own home, it would naturally influence how I presented myself the rest of the time. So I started with a simple act. I went through my drawer and removed anything I didn't truly care for, anything that didn't make me feel beautiful or elegant. What remained was very little, but that was the beginning. From there, I began collecting vintage nightgowns. The quality of older garments is unlike anything made today. The fabrics feel soft yet substantial. The lace is delicate, and the colors, those thoughtful pastels and soft tones, were clearly designed for the elegant woman of yesteryear. Each piece felt timeless, romantic, and special. And so began my quiet transformation. By choosing to wear lovely sleepwear every night, I began to live out the values I said I held: femininity, dignity, grace, even when no one else was watching. Over time, that small decision elevated everything in my wardrobe. I no longer wanted anything hanging in my closet that wasn't presentable or lovely. Every garment needed to reflect care and intention, because that's what I wanted to reflect in my life. Now, one of my favorite sights is my nightgowns hanging neatly in my closet. They look so graceful, and they remind me that dressing well isn't about being seen. It's about self-respect. It's about honoring the home and the woman who lives there. My dressing gowns have become a staple in my daily rhythm. I feel so feminine when I wear them, especially in the quiet hours of the morning or evening, floating across my home or walking down the stairs with the fabric trailing behind me. It's a simple pleasure, but one that has changed me entirely. When we begin to dress beautifully in the most private spaces, everything else follows. I always feel so much better after I have refreshed my wardrobe and changed a few colors out, and really that's all that it is. It doesn't take much time at all, but when I walk in here now, I'm re-inspired to dress well at home, which of course you can find all about that in Jennifer L. Scott's new book, The Daily Connoisseur's Guide to Living Well at Home. So I really hope that this inspired you in some way, and of course I do not want to leave you without sharing my new book, The Lady of the House Handbook, which is available on Amazon as well, and so you can find your copy there. I have it linked in my description box below. This goes through the Lady of the House method and just a really detailed description of the cleaning routine that I share with you on my channel all the time, as well as those 6 key points, those things that I encourage you to do each and every day, which I call the everyday. So thank you so much for being here with me today. If you would, please go visit Jennifer L. Scott's channel, The Daily Connoisseur. That's her channel name. I always need to remember to say her channel name, The Daily Connoisseur. And if you haven't ever seen her channel, please let her know that I sent you. And with that, I'm going to leave you here. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.
Welcome to Inspired by Nikkiyt. Today's episode, playing cornhole.